Assignments are a lie. Like cake or good assignment partners. Welcome to the Grimmbros Chronicles, where we explore together the mysteries of college life. Hello listeners, I'm your host Jason Kelch, and this has been a week. Some of you may remember last time I mentioned that I don't know how I arrived here. Let me elaborate. I have no idea how I went from my house in LA, California to university in Eastern Europe. Last thing I remember, it was some months ago after the incident. I was checking my emails, applying to some universities, I went to sleep. I had a very weird dream that I can't fully recall. I think there was a weird owl with stag antlers and bacon. And when I woke up, I was right here in this room next to all my stuff. My phone's GPS is still not working and I can't get any signal. My internet is working though, and the Wi-Fi seems to be quite good, but I haven't been able to communicate with anyone back home. So, life and lemons, am I right? Anyways, remember when I said I had 2 beds all for myself in my room? Well, not anymore. It seems there's been some sort of administrative mishap, and as a result, I got not 1, not 3, but 2 roommates. Yay! At first, I was shocked, speechless even, when they arrived just an hour after our last show. I was just putting some things away when I heard a knock on the door. I thought maybe it was a student asking for a pen or a signature for a new campus improvement project or something like that. So I just ignored it. But the knocking continued and I finally gave up. I opened the door and that was the end of my peace and quiet. My roommates are interesting, to say the least. Let me tell you. First, we have Federico Tapla from Argentina. You know, down in South America, soccer, tango, Messi, Favaloro, something called dulce de leche. Federico is a business major and the most proactive entrepreneur I've ever met. I'm not kidding you listeners. He's been on campus barely a week and he has already started 3 different businesses, which are all currently dead. The last one lasted 5 whole hours and had 2 customers. He's currently working on number 4, and I'll let you know what it is about as soon as he tells me. Fede, as he's asked me to call him, is tall, with long dark hair and a short beard, and a smile that you just can't say no to. I tried, repeatedly. I hear the words in my mind, but the sounds just won't come out. But don't worry listeners, it's all under control. I have my heavy-duty headphones and they seem to be working just fine. Plus, he seems harmless enough. Like I said, Fede was the first roommate to arrive. After I greeted him, he put his many bags on the bed and we talked for a little bit. Well, he talked a lot, but I managed to say my name and my major, eventually. Like me, he doesn't know how he got here, but he doesn't appear to be particularly worried about it. After our talk, he went to bed and the next day he left to check out the campus and start his businesses. So far he seems to be okay. A bit messy, but okay. And then we have Lizzie. Lizzie is, well, she's a bit of a mystery. She seems to be from Europe, maybe France by her accent. She's what you might call petite, with long pink-green hair. Yes, half of it is green and the other half is pink. And that's all Fede and I know about her. She just showed up at our door with her enrollment papers and a camping backpack 2 hours after Federico arrived, told us her name was Lizzie, dropped her stuff on my bed and left. Neither Fede nor I knew what to say. She came back about 3 hours later and just jumped on my bed and started taking notes on a small leather notebook that she carries around with her. By the way, who even still uses notebooks? Judging by the fact that she has slept in my bed for the past week, it seems I have graciously, and completely intentionally, donated my bed to her. I am such a gentleman, apparently. At least I managed to talk to her during the week. It hasn't been an easy task. Every time we see her in the room is only for a few minutes before she leaves to... I don't know. Either that or she's sleeping. And every morning when I wake up, she's already gone. After several short conversations, this is what I can tell you about her. She's undecided, but she's considering something history related. She didn't tell me where she was from or how she got to Grimmbros U, and that's pretty much it. She didn't tell me much about anything really, until I mentioned the statue on campus. Remember the weird statue with the 3 arms? The 3 weapons of man? When I asked her if she had seen it, she suddenly became a lot more chatty and excited. Lizzie has some curious beliefs. According to her, the entire university is just a front for a secret organization that seeks to rule the world by training and brainwashing college students into sleeper agents. But they are not working alone. They are joined by another secret group of supernatural creatures like werewolves and warlocks and librarians who are aiding them. So yeah, a bit... yeah. She said she's here to investigate and stop this organization called the Green Men. Oh, in case any member of such an organization is listening to this, we are only joking and do not believe that you exist. Please do not kidnap us in our sleep and take us to your secret headquarters for indoctrination. Also, thank you for listening. So, those are my roommates, listeners. And what about the other people here on this very floor, you ask? Well, we had a mandatory floor meeting yesterday, but I will tell you all about it after a word from our sponsor. Today's show is sponsored by the Classy Checker. Do you feel encumbered by all your bags and coats? Do you want to go to class without worrying about them? Then stop by room 13 in Jacob Hall and Federico Tapla and his assistants will check your coats. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, we can't turn this room into a public wardrobe. We barely have room for our stuff. You sure? You will pay me, won't you? Fine. Okay then. Sorry about that. Go to room 13 and let one of their experts keep your stuff safe and sound while you go to class, parties, club meetings, or whatever social event that requires your partially dressed presence. Remember, the Classy Checker, room 13 on Jacob Hall. So, the mandatory floor meeting. It was an experience. I got a good look at some of the other floor residents. There were about 18 people. Jacob Hall is a co-ed dorm, and it seems I was right about it being the international students' dorm. The architecture is similar to the castles. Grey stone walls, tall pointy roofs, a lot of statues of animals, and I think fairies, fae folk. I'm not sure what's the right term, sorry. I saw a couple shaped like small winged creatures, some of them sporting several arms and legs, others with tall animal heads. There are 2 entrances, but I've noticed most people seem to use the main one. The side entrance is a lot smaller and not very well illuminated. Inside, the 5 floors are pretty similar, but the ground floor has a sizable lounge with a couple of large plasma TVs, some sofas, and a rather large dining table with many chairs, which reminded me of those scenes in movies where there is a big feast for a lot of people. The walls were adorned with a mix of paintings of rural landscapes, old towns, and what I assume are different local animals. It all looked pretty okay. I only saw a couple of cuts and scratches on the big table, and the sofas didn't have any noticeable stains. Very impressive. There is also a large kitchen with a couple of fridges, and everything looked pretty clean. For a college dorm, I mean. The dorm meeting was in the lounge, and it consisted of the freshman and the resident assistant, or RA. I arrived first so I could get a nice seat at the back, safe and away from the potential crowd. You know me, listeners, I don't like to hog the spotlight. About 5 minutes later, Fede and the rest of the students started to arrive. Our RA got there last, and she started by introducing herself. Her name is Agatha, she is British, and she seemed as proper and stiff as any stereotype, right up until someone made a Doctor Who reference. Thank you, Cindy. It seems that show is her geek button. Now we know that her favorite Doctor is the 12th, the 9th run was criminally short, and her newest fanfic just hit chapter 55, and it's When Things Start Getting Hot. Other than that, she seems fine. After explaining how the TARDIS works according to her own 6-string theory, she asked us all to introduce ourselves. I'd really like to describe to you listeners what every person said, but I was very tired due to not being used to resting in a sleeping bag and the masterclass in Doctor Who fanfiction, but they all seem to be a very colorful bunch. There are individuals from many different walks of life and from every corner of the world, and I even saw a girl with a huge raven, but that may have been my sleep deprivation. Wouldn't be the first time. I did note, as far as I could tell, that all of us freshmen had 2 things in common. First, this is not the first college experience for any of us. We've all been college dropouts, voluntarily or not, which I find, I don't know, a bit curious, but also relaxing in a strange sort of way. Second, none of us know how we got here. And when we asked Agatha, she just told us to wait until next Saturday for the freshman welcoming party. According to her, things will probably make sense then. Most of us were not very happy with her answers, but after we tried to ask her to further explain herself, she just said she had to go and then ran away. You heard me right. The resident assistant just ran away. Pretty fast, I might add. And we were all so shocked that we just watched her go. I gotta say, an RA running away is a new experience for me. Not a good one, I think, but definitely new. So after the meeting, everyone looked lost, and so we kind of just gravitated towards our rooms. But I couldn't help noticing that some of the older students have been watching our meetings from afar. Some of them gave us amused looks, but others, well, they had this haunted look on their faces. They reminded me of my uncle Carl, who used to be an EMT. He quit after 20 years, and sometimes when he was telling us stories about his job, his eyes would stop looking at us and just go blank, like he was in another place in time and space, and his voice would get very, very soft, almost like a whisper. I always thought that he was doing it for dramatic effect, but now I'm not so sure. Anyways, according to Agatha, before she escaped, next Saturday is Grimmbros University's welcoming party. Now, I would usually not go to this kind of event, so full of people and loud music and cheap drinks, with so many eyes watching your every move, so many voices talking about you, everyone judging and categorizing you and labeling you for the rest of your life here, like an unknown creature in a secret, illegal and terrible government lab. But I'd like to get some answers for you, listeners, so I guess I'll have to go. For you. All for you. Oh, and breaking news, listeners, the Classy Checker has just been closed permanently. According to its founder, Federico Tapla, having a code check in a shared room is mucho lío, and it is just not worth it. So for the 3 clients who left their stuff here, you have until 10 PM to come get them back, or they will be considered forfeited. Especially that leather jacket with the green dragon on the back. It is a very cool jacket. So cool. Maybe I could just... Oh, anyway, well, I'll be seeing you next week, listeners. Take care and watch out for group assignments. The Grimmbros Chronicles is written and produced by Ignacio Mengo. The voice of Jason Kelch is Ignacio Mengo. The ending theme was made by Matías Silveira. Follow him on Instagram at @LluviaTorrencialWeb. Questions? Comments? Follow us on Twitter at GrimbrosU or on Instagram at drmengus. And remember, group assignments can be anywhere.